Good morning, Service Lines community. How y'all doing today? Alongside of me, locked in a parts room somewhere in Connecticut.
I am. Look at that. You're
Brother
very observant, Zach. It's because I'm locked out of my office, actually.
Well, locked out of the office, locked out of Facebook. You just got all sorts of things going on today.
If the morning grind, had more than 10 people that would watch, I would be worried about admitting that I got locked out. But it's amongst friends that we're talking here, right?
It's true. How was your weekend?
It was really good. I got to relax.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's pretty important, isn't it?
It is. It is. I did not relax. My rhythm is thrown all sorts of off this week.
Because you were being a servant to others? Well,
let's be fair. I get paid to do that.
Paid servant.
Yeah. No, so I was helping a friend. Two people that I do video and audio work for. They've been mentors for years. Great guys. And the younger of the two, Jim's daughter, was getting married. And so Grandpa and Dad were told, you cannot work on my wedding day. You better be getting dressed when I show up to the hall. And so they brought me in to help get everything set up and tear stuff down, which meant, it's like way past my bedtime. We're tearing down from this wedding.
So did they send any cues to you while you were doing it to say, hey, do it this way or that way?
No. I literally said they had stagehand running the audio for the theater. Theaters, they're pretty specific. You got to be union, blah, blah, blah. So that was during the ceremony. And then afterwards, we set up everything for the DJ. So all the audio equipment and speakers and lights and all that fun stuff. So yeah, no, it was set up, tear down, pretty simple. Just threw off my sleeping rhythm.
Well, it's, is there a busy season for the flooring industry?
Yeah, so I'm finding out at Mirrors Appliances.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, pretty much Mirrors Appliances. So January, February, slow. March, we begin to get that climb. Tax time hits, we really, ramp. I mean, it's almost identical. It's wild. So,
I know that if I were to have to jump completely out of this industry and go somewhere else, man, I'd be nervous, and you probably were a little bit, but you're a little more bold and adventurous than I am. But this is really cool to hang out with you during this kind of new journey for you. It's really fun.
You know, I've always been a bit of a comedian. I've had a bunch of jobs. I've done a bunch of things. So it's the joys of Doug being stuck in a parts closet. Yeah, I've done a bunch of things. So it was a little bit unnerving because you never know what you're going to experience and going to work for a buddy. But as far as like, I guess overall, it was a pretty easy transition. I can fit just about anywhere. So,
all right, you're brave.
It's a fun transition. Sometimes you got to do things scared, right? You just do it scared.
You get through it, right?
Well, anyway,
this is a fun fact that I was unaware of about Connecticut.
It's where the first ever Polaroid camera was born. So that's interesting.
Thank you, Saul. Appreciate that, buddy.
He's always full of good facts. Good morning, everyone. I saw Jeremy and Adam, Jose. Protect Doug at all costs. Too funny.
So what's the topic
today? We are talking rest. We are talking rest as a pathway to mental clarity. So if we don't take the time, it really begins to be hard to focus, right? So have you ever experienced that, Doug, where you're just like go, and then like you have to solve a problem and you're going, what was the problem again? What the heck am I doing here again? Right? So maybe I'm alone. Maybe I'm the only one who's ever experienced that, where I just go so much that then I can't think.
No, I'm in the same boat. But I don't usually recognize it until people are pointing it out to me. So but I got to tell you, I've been working at it thanks to hanging out with smart guys for a couple years. So I'm finding myself, I think when you have a team around you and you're not wearing so many hats, things get a little bit smoother and better, So, but
yeah, so
we'll talk
at it from Yeah, we'll talk about it from a couple different perspectives, from when we were in the much smaller, confined, wearing every hat, to now being able to step out and share with other people. Doug's throwing my ADHD all sorts of off.
All right, I'm almost ready now.
It's all good. No, but we'll talk about it from a couple different ways and what that looks like. And drop in the comments if you got questions, concerns, if you got thoughts on taking rest and how that helps your mental clarity. So, Doug, you want to pray us in? You feel settled enough to pray us in?
Lord God, amongst the chaos, or amongst the quiet dawn, you are there, and you are always at peace, Lord, and you are always in control, and that's something that we can't say. And so, God, thank you for being the God, our protector, and watching over us. God, we're all, most of us, many of us, just working hard to provide for our families. We have a dream or a goal that we're striving for, and we want to do everything we can, but it's all about pacing yourself. It's all about the seventh day of rest. And so, God, teach us, show us through your word, and use Zach and I in our words of our rambling. Just help us, nudge us in the right direction of working hard, but having peace and rest. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. It's hard to do, right? Do you find it hard to like just step away? Because maybe, I don't know. Let's see if you share this mindset. I'm just going to come back to a mountain of work. And why would I take time off? Because it just means more work when I get back. And I already work too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were in that situation, it sounds like you're screwed no matter what. So
Right.
you might as well be rested, right? Because working at 20 or 30% capacity around and around and around, it can only end with giving up.
Mm-hmm.
Giving up because you're physically and mentally shot, giving up because you've lost hope. That's the worst one. That's the one that my heart breaks for anybody who's working hard and wearing a lot of hats. That they just go, this isn't for me, but they didn't give it the chance that it needed. So it's important. It's important to rest, even if you have no time to rest.
Yeah, and I've found like I've had people around me encourage me to take those moments of rest, and you begin to have you can be more creative, right? Like you can look at a problem and you can see it in different perspectives when you come back from rest, right? Because all of a sudden you've had that chance to just let that fall away, right? And you haven't been so focused on it that all of a sudden it's almost like a fresh perspective.
Yeah,
I guess.
So all right, so I can do this not because I'm better than you, but because I'm wired and made differently than you are. And you've got this thing with 4 letters in it, ADHD or whatever. So are you able to, at the end of the day on Friday, just kind of switch gears? Is it something that you have? I think I had to work at it, but I don't think I had to work that hard. But how about you? Is it even possible?
It's super hard to work at it. Yeah, I always have to be doing something. But if I'm doing something that I enjoy and kind of relaxing in it, whether it's running or whether it's 3D printing stupid little what I mean, like I have to find something to disconnect from that actual grind that I have to get this work done, and I have to be very intentional. Shannon, the owner's wife, texted last night, hey, can you put this estimate in? Well, as I talked to Matt about on Friday, I will get it done on Monday when I come into the office.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. Yeah. I have to kind of protect that time because otherwise I'll work. I could end up working for, 20 hours a day.
All right. So now I think I know where you're at and how you think. But so does that mean that you don't enjoy a day at the beach doing nothing, just sitting there, listening to music? Or is it that your rest could be something else that would be extremely exhausting to me, like, running or working on my brand new 3D printer and reading, 4,000 pages of BS, that kind of stuff. So is that rest for you?
It's not and or for me. It's both. So like I could do either and feel
you can just completely veg out and do nothing then.
Yeah, that one's harder for me. But it is definitely possible for me to do that. How about you guys in the audience?
Yeah.
Like what do you find as your moment of rest? Or are you not taking rest? Are you having a hard time just unplugging, taking off the owner hat, which is, every hat, or technician hat, and finding those moments of rest? Drop it in the comments while we prattle along, and we'll come back to it.
I'm getting to know Adam a tiny bit here, but don't know him as well as I do Jeremy. So curious, Adam, how do you do it, man? You're a business owner, so what's your approach?
Jeremy, he's a perfect example. They took a vacation. He took that unintentional or that intentional breath time, right? So
and you hear Jeremy in our book, our knitting club, our book club, whatever it's called. You can tell priority of family and family time and gathering that's a form of rest, depending on what stage your kids are at, right? So
Jose brings up a great point. How many of us can actually turn the phone off? That's the one that I am guilty of, Doug. That is the one that like if I could turn the phone off, put it in a drawer and not go back for it, we'd be doing fantastic. But that is the one that I am very guilty of. I have a very hard time with that one for whatever reason.
Oh, you almost have to be intentional for sure, So yeah. Oh, I thought he said it was chilly, but he was willing to persevere through the barbecue, but he was chilling with the kids.
I don't turn it off, but it's not. Yeah, so I go into do not disturb mode. The hard part is not picking it up and looking at it, because I still get the notifications even in do not disturb. For whatever reason, those don't go away. So when I'm not at work or on my land, I do things at the fire station. My wife says I never stop. Yeah, you firefighters. Tell you. It is a very common segue into this industry, by the way. That's how our company, the Gordon's Appliance, was found. It was a firefighter, and it was his side hustle. So it's a very common theme. I think Chris Hadstey is also a firefighter in our circle of people that we're around. So
my other thought on the phone was, I remember when I got like my first BlackBerry, whatever year that was, and the kids were pretty young, and the wife started calling it my girlfriend. At work, you could check emails, and there wasn't a ton of like online games or anything, so it was mostly just staying connected all the time. And she started calling, and then the kids picked up on that. And of course, you fast forward like 10 years, and and sometimes I'll feel guilty and take on a burden that is not totally mine. But I think about my whole family, like most families. We're not the family at the restaurant where everybody's just got the phone and we're going like this, but we're somewhere in between. And now, so I'm probably, ironically, no one will admit it because they're not paying attention because they've got the phone stuck to their face, that I'm more in the present and put the phone down. But it took a lot of intentional effort to do that. So
Saul was watching the heat.
Yeah.
Those Southerners, I tell you. Yeah, the phone is a hard one. I was on call for almost 11 years straight. And so those of you who are out there that have had on-call rotations, you understand the stress and the mindset. And I've only been out of that 11 years. It's a really hard, always having to be connected to. I don't have to always be connected. Still a decade later, it's still like that.
It's part of your nature now.
Yeah. So it's like you said, it has to be an intentional break. Taking rest has to be intentional, because you're not just going to do it. It's not a natural in the world we are in now. It is not a natural thing. So you have to be very intentional with your times of rest. Do you feel that when you come back from an intentional rest that you have more clarity? What have you ever experienced that? Have you ever come back and you're like, Jay, I had the best vacation and I have this idea now.
Yeah.
Have you ever come back like that?
Oh, for sure. Because during the week and the regular grind, the only time that happens is the shower, because you can't have your phone by your side and no one can talk to you, or vice versa. So it is amazing that every day there's about a 7-minute, power mind just thinking. So yeah, certainly time off brings back some clarity for sure.
Yeah.
And again, I'm grateful to have a team that when I come back, there's not a ton of stuff that I'm worried that I have to take care of or be focused on. But that could probably start creeping into your last couple days of vacation, right? Is the worry about what it's going to be like, when you get back. And so the trick is to take the full break. Like, for instance, at Action, it's been years that, I don't know why, but technicians would like to take like a Thursday, Friday off and wrap it to a weekend so that they're only using 2 of their paid days. But imagine taking a full 5 paid day week off and you have the weekend before and the weekend after. That's like a year and a half of a break is what it's going to feel like. But I don't know. I have to kind of convince guys to do it, and it really came from Jay. When people come to work at Action Appliance, they can take their time even before it's accrued right out of the gate. If somebody's interviewing with me and says, I have a vacation, planned, for sure, we're not going to get in the way of that because, that's the way it used to be a long time ago, was you had to put in a year's time to earn the opportunity for a vacation. But that can cause you to burn out. That can cause you to, just not be on your best game. So got to take your time.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like an odd strategy. And I don't know. I'm one of those that has a hard time. Let's take a full 5 days off. Cause like,
you are? Okay.
I need like a vacation from my vacation when I do that. Like it's hard for me to shift back into the routine. Sometimes it's I jump headlong in and then I end up more stressed than I was before the vacation. Or sometimes it's like I don't want to go back. Why am I going back?
Yeah.
So I have a harder time with that. But you really do get a full rest when you do that instead of just trying to sandwich it.
Well, can I tell you that what's changed for me this year? One important thing was taking a class at ASTI that was led by Ginny Seeley. And it was it's a program that she put together where you just kind of do an inventory, a quick one. You don't think about it too hard. You just do a quick inventory on the different aspects of your life, whether it's mental, physical, work, personal, your home, looking for clutter, and then setting goals to take care of these areas of your life that are clutter that can cause you anxiety, that can cause you to not be clearly focused with an A game, with a strategy, with the process. I think Jasper, there's a couple people that I know that were in that group that at ASTI. And it really has had an impact on my life. At home, there's like 5 places. There's still 5 more, but 5 places that when I walk into that space, I just immediately have peace and joy. Where before that, it was just a daunting, overwhelming thing. So imagine if at home, you've got all kinds of projects you're backed up on, or things that you feel bad that you've not accomplished, or you have chaos at home and unorganization. Imagine trying to go home and relax after work, but you can't because what you need, you can't find. All that just always builds on you. And then you go back to work. And if work is just like that, well, now you have this just happening all the time, playing catch up, right? And delayed. So I don't know. I would encourage, anybody that would be excited by something like that, message Ginny and maybe she'll do a Zoom class and might cost you a little bit of money. It cost us in essence to do it at ASTI, but she should, I encourage you to take this. If she's willing to do it at some time in the future, grab hold of it, because it's I wouldn't say it's changed my life, but I feel like I'm empowered because of doing that session with her.
Taking an inventory is an important thing in all sorts of aspects of life. So let's go back to this one. When you come back from disconnecting, do you feel out of place I feel out of place for a few days. It takes me a little bit to get back in that groove. And the longer I take off, the harder it is for me to get back in the groove, I guess. How about you?
Might be the other way around. When I get home, I feel a little disconnected from the family. When I come back, I'm excited to jump back in, excited to hear about what happened and where we're heading and what's next on the list. So not really, no.
Yeah. See, I think my hardest part is like, okay, what tasks do I have to get done? Like it takes me a little bit to get back in that rhythm. Yeah. I don't know. It's a hard thing. What was it like when it was just you and Jay? Like, what was it easy to rest then, or did you find it harder to rest?
I was young, so I think like what you were talking about, I could resonate with that. You were on call for 11 years. I mean, it wasn't like it was this grind. After you get used to it, you just begin to adjust your life around it. And it's like, hey, let's go to the movies Saturday night. Okay, so what happens if somebody, texts in or calls or messages, whatever system you're using? I'll just have to, looks like Sunday morning isn't relaxing because if I get anything while I'm at the movie set, I was just always strategizing my time. It was, I think it was every other Saturday that I was working. So again, in today's world, that would be abuse, and you could probably reach out to a lawyer and sue. But back then, you had to keep the company going. Jay was a Saturday, I was a Saturday. If we find another technician, then we can push the rotation out farther. So no, I think we just get used to it, which is the danger, don't you think, Zach? Is that you adjust and accommodate because we're human beings, and all of a sudden you don't realize you're in survival mode instead of enjoying life and finding value in what you do, right? And so really hard to figure that out. I think if you're not in a peer group or a mastermind, how the heck are you going to be aware of your situation, right?
Well, that's it for the morning grind. I just wrapped it up in 3. No, I mean, really, that's the point of this, right? Like that's the point of this is that our thermostat becomes adjusted to a certain way, right? And so for the 11 years that I was on call, a good chunk of that, my wife and I were dating or engaged, and so she got used to the answering service calling me going, all right, he's got to go. Like we adjusted. I couldn't be too far from the warehouse where I had to go and pick up the truck to go and grab the medical supplies to go, wherever. Like it just, and we got used to that. And then it took another 5 years after I was done with that for her to stop jumping in the grocery store when someone else's phone had that ringtone on it. Like, that was the first thing I changed when I left that. I didn't have that phone anymore, so I didn't have that ringtone anymore. And so, but it took her another 5 years to not just jump and get angry. Like she literally had a physical response to her ringtone because of me being on call for so long. She would tense up and get angry because it was a disruption in our life. Our thermostat had become adjusted to that, and it took some time to unwind.
It's not a bad thing. It's a necessary thing for a season or two. Like we were at Costco this weekend, my wife and I with just one of our kids, and we're all old now, but we saw this mom with 3 little ones, like from 6 to 2 or 8 to 2. And they got the hot dog and stuff, and the ketchup is whipping down on the shirt, and she's trying to eat, and she doesn't look frazzled, but you can just tell she's not going to just eat a hot dog. So she's getting up, and then she's wiping the ketchup, and then she's getting some more soda for number kid 2. The kid 3 tries to take off. She puts them back into place, and it's calm, but it's busy and hectic. And I notice it, and I don't say anything, and my wife notices, and then she mentions, she goes, I remember those days, and I said, I realized a few years ago, just based on pictures that we would see through Facebook and stuff, that's what my wife did. So I went to work at 8, and I got home between almost 6 to 8 o'clock every day. And she was just doing the whole thing. So she was in a grind while I was in a grind, and she was doing it for us. And what I was doing was for them. And today's world's different. My technicians and employees do not want to work 50, 60 hours a week. So I can't believe I'm that old that we've got a shift in change of how businesses in the service business work. I watch on Facebook. I see people go, nope, company's done it Friday, no weekends, or no on call, or 8 calls. When people used to say I do 8 calls a day, I would just go, that how do you survive on just 8? You need 8, you need 10. And now I'm comfortable with 8, and now I'm starting to hear the new number, 4 to 6. 4 to 6 calls a day. They're trying to get their guys home in 8 hours or less. That wasn't the way it was. So the world could be better and should be better, because people are recognizing time is important. Now, if you own your business, that's a different story. But I would think you need to grow it at a pace that you're keeping the best you can, the values. Don't trade in a season unless you've got a plan that's solid as a rock, right? Don't say, well, I'm going to work my butt off until I get to this place. And when I do, then I will rest and I will take more family time. You're either going to be caught up in the rat race of growing and growing and growing, or you're going to burn yourself out and miss years. So you better balance it now. Just balance it right away.
And I think that's a great point. I think it's a season, right? You have to know that there's going to be times where it's going to be. I'm going to call this out. I'm the one that's a little more harsh in the world, and that's okay. But this needs to be heard. Work-life balance is bullshit. So just suck it up, okay? Now, it's a sliding scale, okay? It will always be in flux. They will never be perfect. So if you're aiming for perfect, you are going to be disappointed every single time. Your work life will never be balanced. There's going to be seasons where one is higher than the other, and then they flip, and then they continue to flip. That's normal.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Embrace that. It's fine. There's going to be seasons where you got to put in more work, and then it's going to slide the other way where you're doing and then it's going to slide and that's normal, and that's okay, and that's good. Embrace that. And I think as a whole, I think business owners and managers are coming to the realization that yes, life is in flux, and we can be flexible. We had an entire generation that, what are you talking about? This is the way it is, and this is rigid, and this is what we do, and just suck it up.
Yeah.
But as we've gone, a lot of us in the generations following are like, no, like, why? That it's not worth it, right? And so it's okay. Just know that there is seasonality. That's kind of where your story was, right? There is this ebb and flow within the seasons of life, within the seasons of work. Embrace the season that you're in, but make sure you take that intentional time to pull away from it so you can see what season you're in, right? If you don't take that rest, you can't. It's like stepping back and widening the lens and going, oh, that's the season I'm in.
From there, you can develop a strategy. So if your kid has 5 concerts through the school year, and you have to miss the first 2 or 2 out of the 5, you better prioritize the other 3. Strategize it. And it won't be easy. You'll have to turn away something else, but you're going to recognize you're planning ahead. There's 5 opportunities to stand up and cheer for my kid. I don't want to miss that memory. And so many of us put our heads in the sand and blame the world around us, or blame whoever we can possibly blame because we don't strategize and organize our process and where we're heading. So very, very wise old age sage from you, Zach.
We don't, and it's hard to do because we don't take the time off to recognize where we are.
Yeah. Back to accountability, whether it's a peer group or a really close friend that you stay connected with, and you share that strategy. They can ask you, how's it going? Are you going to take that vacation you were planning? I don't think so. There's no way I can do it, really. And just process it, right?
We got a long weekend coming up, guys and gals. Take some time, unplug, get away from the business, turn the phone off, because nothing is an emergency, especially in the appliance world. It's just not an emergency. Just step back, be intentional about it, spend the time with the family, and come back rested and refreshed. I will be here next Monday for sure because our rest happens before that. Angie has to work on Monday. So so we will be back before that. So I will definitely be here next Monday. I don't know about Doug. I don't know if Doug's going to be sitting on a beach somewhere or, but
no, the kids are marching in a parade. So we'll be heading to a parade. But you guys have a great Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Guys, up at the top, our first regional meetup. Well, first official, because we've done a couple. Regional meetup, July 22nd, Richmond, Virginia. Details are coming soon. We're finalizing the schedule and all the little workshopies that we'll be doing during those days. Details coming soon. Stay tuned. Yes. Guys, have a good day. Love your customers well. Get some rest on this long weekend. Have a good one, guys.
Bye, guys.